because you made a really important statement. You said, unless you listen to yourself, unless you really identify what's happening on the inside, can you explain to our audience, how do you do that? How do you listen to
I
yourself?
think we all hear the guidance. We all hear the intuition. We all hear it. We've all heard it. Sometimes the guidance comes in the gut feeling that you feel where there's a contraction. It's like, oh, something feels off. Sometimes
So,
that feeling happens as a subtle warmth, temperature change, or sensation in your body. Sometimes it comes in a voice. Hey, don't do that. Sometimes it comes in a synchronicity in the material world of like you listen to a song and you hear something, see something on a billboard. It's the universe speaking to you. Everything is connected. And so the challenge is, because many times this deeper soul guidance doesn't arise from the conditioned mind or the ego logic mind, that it often doesn't make sense to your personality or your mind because it's arising from the unconditioned dimension of your being. And
yes.
because it doesn't make sense, like, I don't understand why I feel this guidance. I don't, because it doesn't fit into our current frame of reference and understanding, that's where we often, the mind gets in, the ego gets in and tries to figure it out, make sense of it, understand everything, because the ego wants to understand this guidance and analyze it because it wants to control it, because if I can control it, then I won't get hurt. So we try to figure everything out, and that's how we start blocking the flow. And so I
Okay,
would
so
say,
the ego then is part of the thing we need to learn to set aside, go
well,
around.
well, before I go there, I would say for people to pay attention to the sensations in your body. I would
Yes.
invite people to create space and time in your daily life to be still out of the busyness of life, because many times we keep ourselves so busy, 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 busy running around. And sometimes we keep ourselves busy running around because we are afraid of what might happen if we become still. So, just to your first question, I would invite people to create spaces and pauses in life where you can be still so that you can listen to the body, to the sensations, to the feelings, to the clues, and digest it. Because when you're in the stillness, you will observe things, you will sense things, you will feel things. And then when you feel it, I would invite you to, rather than question, just take a step. To me, that's how you start cultivating the intuition and the guide. You take a step. You don't have to know where you're going. You don't have to understand it, but just take a step. So what I had to learn to do myself was I would feel like, call John. Why? Does it stop? Don't question. Call John. Pick up the phone. Hey, John, it's Kute. Hey, Kute, I was just thinking about you. Stuff like that would happen. So the more you just stop questioning and you just follow, you just take a step, you just follow, the
I
more the
like it.
connection
Like it.
starts to develop, and the more you start getting in sync and alignment with the clues that are always around us.
Okay, so there's a payoff to following the instinct, the intuition, the synchronicity. There's a relational factor, if you will, to it. When I follow it and I don't think about it too much, then I met with a sort of confirmation when I follow it. I like that. Why do you think more people don't do that?
Because we don't do that because we're afraid of losing control and we're afraid of going into the unknown. As I mentioned, because this guidance often doesn't make sense, the fear is, if I follow this, I'm not in control. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And because we're afraid of what might happen, if I lose control, I might get hurt like I was hurt when I was young. I might get heartbroken like I was heartbroken back then. And so that's when the ego kicks in to be like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. The ego's job is to protect you from getting hurt. And the ego's
Safety,
job is
safety.
safety, to reinforce its existence. And well intended, the ego kicks in. So, whoa, 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 whoa. You're gonna go where, and you don't know what's gonna. Wait, 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 wait. What does this mean? And what's gonna happen when you turn left? And what's gonna happen when you call John? And what's gonna happen when you take that trip? Wait, 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 wait. Let's just try to figure this out and make sense of it. Because if I can understand it, maybe I'll be in control. So the ego is trying to keep you safe, by controlling and understanding and over analyzing. The challenge then is we often talk ourselves out of taking that step and following it because we convince ourselves it's not safe, but we don't know. And so
Right.
that's the challenge. And so we often don't listen out of safety and out of self-protection.
I so agree. So let me ask you this, because what I find in my work, and I've worked all over the place with lots of different types of people, is that one of the things that can disrupt the work of the ego is suffering.
Mhm.
So when I'm put in a position where I don't have control or where my options are taken away, I'm more likely to open up to other ideas or alternative ways of being, or to think that deeper things, spiritual things may hold some truth or value. So, will you talk for a minute about the last time you were in a situation where your ego got unseated and maybe there was suffering, pain, challenge that made you grow?
I think there have been so many instances in my life where I've been forced to grow. I mean, I've breakups that have happened in my life where uh, relationships I really wanted to happen. I remember many years ago, I was in a relationship, really wanted it to work, didn't work, tremendous suffering. And it brought me to a point of total surrender of saying, I don't know shit anymore. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
But that suffering of thinking something was something and holding so tightly to that because I was so sure or thought I was so sure. And then being brought to my knees of like, well, it's not what I thought. That depth of heartbreak and that depth of humility brought me to a level of openness of just, you could say, total surrender of like, what do I know? When what you think is isn't, and then when what you think isn't turns out to be,
that's right.
it humbles you. And so that loosens the grip of the ego to say, I don't know shit. And that openness, I think, is where grace can flow. That openness is where God can flow. That openness is where the infinite intelligence of life can flow. Again, that innate intelligence that is always flowing, we just kind of constrict the flow of that innate intelligence again. And so that I would just, without going into all the details, just for time's sake, but that moment of my life created such a level of openness where it made me really open to meet my wife and my soulmate because I took all limitations off of the universe and said, it's got to be like this, got to look like this, it's got to be like, I said, I don't know anything. I thought I knew, I don't know anything.
Love
So
it.
now I'm open. And
I
so that to me,
surrender.
yeah,
I
that's true surrender, which we can get into as well.
I love it.